The beast of the Black Aurora, far beyond the northern fjords, where the sky burns with the dancing lights of the aurora. The Vikings believed the heavens were not empty. The lights in the sky were not just colors, they were signs, messages from the gods. But sometimes the lights carried something else, something darker. The old sagas spoke of a rare and terrifying phenomenon called the Black Aurora. Unlike the bright green and blue lights that painted the northern sky, the Black Aurora appeared only during times of great danger. When it appeared, the sky did not glow with color. It turned dark. A shadow moved across the heavens like a wound in the night, and the sagas warned that when the Black Aurora appeared, something ancient was awakening. For centuries, no one had seen it, until the night the gate opened. Across the northern lands, strange shadows began moving through the sky. The aurora that once danced across the heavens slowly twisted into darker shapes. Green lights faded. Blue lights vanished. The sky turned black. In the northern settlement of Eldscar, a warrior named Ragnar Iceblood stood outside the village walls, staring at the sky. He had seen the aurora all his life, but never like this. The lights above the mountains twisted like living shadows. The stars disappeared behind a dark wave spreading across the heavens. The Black Aurora had returned. The villagers gathered outside their homes, whispering in fear. Some believed it was the end of the world. Others believed the gods were angry. But Ragnar felt something else. The sky was not just changing. Something was moving inside it. Then the wind stopped. The aurora froze in place. The entire valley became silent. Then something fell from the sky. At first it looked like a falling star, a massive shadow tearing through the clouds. The object crashed into the frozen mountains beyond the village with a thunderous explosion. The ground shook violently. Snow and ice erupted across the valley as the mountains cracked open. Ragnar ran toward the impact. The villagers shouted for him to stop. But Ragnar knew what this meant. The gate had opened, and now something had crossed into their world. By the time Ragnar reached the mountains, the sky had grown darker. The Black Aurora stretched across the horizon like a living storm. The impact crater was enormous. At the center of the shattered mountain lay something massive. At first Ragnar believed it was a rock. Then it moved. The creature slowly rose from the crater. It was enormous, larger than a frost giant. Its body was covered in black crystalline armor that reflected the strange lights of the aurora above. Dark energy flowed between the cracks in its skin like living shadows. Two glowing violet eyes opened inside a monstrous skull. The beast of the Black Aurora had arrived. The creature looked around slowly. It seemed confused, as if this world was unfamiliar. Then it saw Ragnar. The beast tilted its massive head. The air around it began to ripple with dark energy. The aurora above the mountains reacted instantly. The black lights twisted violently across the sky. Ragnar realized the truth. The creature was connected to the aurora itself. The sky was feeding its power. The beast stepped forward. Each step cracked the frozen earth. Ragnar drew his runic blade. The beast roared. The sound echoed across the entire mountain range like thunder tearing the sky apart. Then the creature attacked. It moved faster than something that large should have been able to move. A massive claw smashed into the ground where Ragnar had been standing moments before. Ragnar rolled aside and slashed his blade across the creature's leg. The runic sword struck the crystal armor with a burst of blue light. The beast barely reacted. Instead it raised its head toward the sky. The Black Aurora flared brighter. Dark energy flowed down from the heavens into the creature's body. The beast grew stronger. Ragnar realized he could not defeat it while the aurora remained. The creature lunged again. Ragnar dodged the strike and ran toward the mountain ridge above the crater. The beast followed him. Snow and stone exploded behind Ragnar as the creature smashed through the frozen landscape. When Ragnar reached the ridge, he turned and raised his runic blade toward the sky. The ancient runes carved into the weapon began glowing brighter. The aurora reacted. The black lights above the mountains flickered. The beast roared in anger. Ragnar drove the blade into the frozen ground. The runes erupted with blinding light. A beam of ancient energy shot upward into the sky. The aurora shattered. The Black Aurora collapsed into fragments of fading light. The creature staggered without the power of the sky feeding it. The beast weakened. Ragnar pulled the blade from the ground and charged forward. With one final strike he drove the runic sword into the center of the creature's chest. The crystal armor cracked. Dark energy exploded outward. The beast of the Black Aurora roared one last time before collapsing into the crater. The valley fell silent. The aurora returned to its normal green glow. Ragnar stood alone on the mountain ridge. The first creature from beyond the gate had fallen, but Ragnar knew the truth. The beast had not come alone. Far beyond the northern horizon, the sky began turning dark again. Something far larger was coming through the gate. If you enjoyed this Viking dark fantasy story, like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next chapter of Frozen Saga. New monsters, ancient legends, and forgotten gods are awakening across the frozen north. This saga is far from over.